building.
So your folks were in, and they were in Lincoln Towers.
Right. It was a group of.
Did they ever move from there? From Lincoln Towers?
Did they ever move from Lincoln Towers?
They had a place in. They had a place in Florida, no?
Starlight.
together
That
with
was-
Grandma and Grandpa. Where?
Yeah, but was that a permit? That was.
No, that
That was
was,
like a.
but then they gave up New York.
Yeah. They used to travel back and forth. I mean, that's when
Yeah.
my mother, when she got killed
This
in
was
an
the-
automobile accident.
Right. That was a
Driving back from
Florida.
Florida.
because
It
she
was
was
during
afraid
the
of flying.
summer.
Was that
She
the
was
story?
afraid of flying. She never liked to fly.
She never liked to fly. She ended up getting killed in a car accident.
Right, yeah.
What?
But it was for they were coming up for an occasion.
Whatever, so they was probably spending more time than down in Florida.
But that was at Star Lake.
Yeah, Star Lake. In Florida, it was in Star Lake too.
Remember?
Was it the same building as?
Yeah, one end and the other.
Yeah, I seem to recall they were like the
Yeah.
far end of the catwalk there.
Right.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
You put your
whether-
hand, I remember, on the burner, and you burnt your fingers.
Mhm.
That's right. Electric burners was a new
Yeah.
thing. Cool. Okay, so when did your parent? When did you see your mother died? Do you remember when? What year? What that was?
Yeah.
Must have been '70s,
In,
'60s even.
We lived on Lord Avenue.
67. My father died in 69. I think that's what it was, 2 years later.
That's all.
Yeah. He got married in the meantime.
1 year, yeah, he
And
got
then
married
he
a year
got
later.
divorced, didn't work.
Yeah.
Got married to, what's her name? What was her name? She was a
She's
real
active in,
active in what, Ms. Rafi?
Harry Fensterheim's,
Rose.
Rose introduced them.
Yeah. What was her name? I
Uh huh.
don't remember. I'll think of the name of it. I was married for a year maybe.
And how did your father die?
He got cancer. I remember we were visiting, we were at Alvin's apartment in Manhattan somewhere. Where was Alvin living at the time with Rose?
Hmm?
Alvin
No, Laura. He was in,
Laura.
he was in Riverdale.
in Riverdale at the time. And we went there, and my father and Alvin and I, we had dinner or something, and then we left. And when we got home, Alvin called that he had keeled over. And my father keeled over.
You knew he had cancer.
No,
No, he
Wait.
hemorrhaged,
something. He keeled over.
and he
And
hemorrhaged.
they took him to medical center, and they opened him up, and they said, so he had pancreatic cancer, and they said, they just closed him up.
Quick.
A month later, less than a month later, closed him up. Died on the Alan's bar mitzvah. Alan
Alan's
Hammond's
bar
bar
mitzvah.
mitzvah. Bar mitzvah. They knew we went to visit him at the hospital, and they knew when we didn't show up at the bar mitzvah.
It
So,
wasn't good.
I was there, we were there, Alvin was there, I was there, and Moe Fensterheim was there, Mutzi Shabbos. And that was Bob Kissler.
So this was also he was. I mean, he must have died. He must have born turn of the century, right? By 1900.
He was born on 1900.
1900.
Both my mother and my father were born in 1900.
And my
So,
father.
so they both died relatively young. They
In
both
67 and 69.
69
And I remember Moe was there, Alvin was there.
at the hospital.
And I was there when my father's breathing on oxygen. And then
That was,
I was at the bedside when he passed away. And then they called me in to give them some details. So Alvin right away told me, no autopsy. He knew because Alvin was very medically, medical.
Right.
He told me, make sure you tell him no.
So why they call you if Alvin was there?
I don't
He's
know.
the
They asked
older.
me to come in. I don't know. So I went with the guy, and that was it. Next day we had the funeral.
And he's buried also. Where is
He's
he?
in Union Field.
Field.
Union Field. Everybody, all the Fensterheims are basically Union Field.
Yep.
Okay. So Lisa's born. You're already in Far Rockaway on what's
Greenport
it?
Road.
Greenport.
Apartment
was it?
2329 or something.
How long were you there in Greenport Road?
Several years.
Because when Robin's born,
And we bought a house. We bought a house on Caffrey.
On Caffrey.
The Briss I know was in
On
Caffrey.
I was born in Caffrey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robin was
Robin
born.
was born. Was it Caffrey or Greenport? It was in,
I don't know.
middle there.
Okay.
I think I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, and then Far Rockaway, your involvement in the White Shul.
Right. Yeah, it was always white shoes.
So why? I mean, what was your position in the White Shul? You ever?
I was once president.
You were
chairman of the board.
Were you president after they built the
I know I
building?
was chairman of the board. No, this was before they built the building. Oh wait,
You,
I was chairman of the board after they built the building. I don't remember. Was I ever president?
no, you chairman of the board.
Chairman of the board.
Here, chairman is
And then
Was
you,
like we would be like president. No, that was different. President.
there, you were also instrumental in getting the shul.
Yeah, well, that was when we used to. Shul was first in a white wooden building on Namioke Street. That's why it's called the White Shul.
right.
And then we had a fire, so we had to get another place.
Right.
And there was a lot in the middle of the block on what was the name of that street?
Corner of Virginia and
What was the
Empire or
street, though?
something.
Empire Avenue, maybe. Yeah, whatever. That was taken over by the city and was up for a tax sale.
Oh.
It's an interesting story because they had to run a public sale and they would set an upset price as the lowest price. And there were always two things about the upset price. If you were a charitable organization
Yeah.
and when the lot would come up for bid, they don't do this anymore because they put a stop to it. The lot would come up for bid and the auctioneer would announce there's a charitable organization interested in buying this, so no one else would say anything and you would bid the upset price and that would be it.
Oh.
But the trick was to get the upset price as low as possible because you knew that that was what was going to happen, so you meet with them in advance and whatnot. And we bought that lot. And we hired an architect to start designing a building for that lot, and then the lot next to it, a big corner lot,
Became
which had a
available.
big house
Right.
on corner Sage and Empire, became available. I'm not going to sell to any shul, this woman who owned it. So I got a hold of a friend of mine, a lawyer by the name of Artie Goldstein, who had a law office in Queens Boulevard. And I said, Artie, you gotta do me a favor. I says, what, you got a real estate client? I said, yeah. Make a bid on this property so that, and we organized a company called Sage Realty, Inc. I still remember organizing that company. And this guy went,
And bought
bought the property, Sage Realty Inc., we paid the money, and that was I remember before we knocked the building down on that property, because it was an old house there, we had a kumsitz with a guy playing a guitar, and his name was Rabbi Shlomo Kalbach.
Oh, that was nice.
Remember? Yeah. That was when he was first
Starting it.
starting to get, and then we knocked down that. The other lot was empty; it had no building on it.
There's still that house that was by the parking lot.
Yeah, that corner house that was owned by a doctor or something.
Not the corner.
inside that street.
Inside, I remember we used to play baseball on that parking lot, and I remember hitting a ball through a window.
Towards the back, maybe.
The back, a
Yeah,
white building.
we owned that. That was on the property, I think. Yeah. Of course, the lot we had was like an L-shaped lot.
Uh-huh.
So that was the story of the White Shul. And then we had to raise money. And we had a committee. We hired a guy by the name of Samuels, I think was his name, as a fundraiser. And that was my first contact. And we were hipped up. And these fundraisers are good.
Mm-hmm.
They get you all hipped up and they get you out.
Yeah.
They train you how to talk to people. And I've used that when we raised money for the building the
White Plains.
White Plains. We hired a fundraiser there too. I pushed to hire a fundraiser. They said, why do you need a fundraiser for you? And a lot of the same techniques, they all use similar techniques.
Right.
And that's what we did. And we needed a mortgage. So the whole story.
Now, for me in particular, Morty.
Langer?
No. Morty and Doris Sklar.
Sklar, yeah.
He was my godparents.
Were they the Kvater
Was it Kvater?
Yeah,
I think so, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, the father become the guardians?
Yeah,
And why was that you guys were close?
Very
I mean,
friendly.
very friendly.
Yeah,
I
very
went out with
We're
Doris.
still friendly with her now.
Yeah, Morty
He's
just
dead.
died.
Morty died recently.
And
Morty
so-
finished Dafyomi 3 times.
Yeah,
That was, they talked about that at the
Really?
yeah.
Where did he get buried?
Morty?
You at Levaya. You didn't go to the cemetery?
I don't remember, did we? Maybe the Shul plot, which is at in Elmont, Bet David. I don't know, I'm not sure. But we were very close. The Chevra was pretty close, but we were very close with them.
We were just talking about it today, how close we were. Doris and Morty, Cy and Lily,
Right.
the Schechters.
Cy and Morty had been partners. And it's a whole story because they had a falling out, and for years they never talked to one another. After that, that was a sad situation because they were so close. They used to travel together when they were single, and all that business.
Right.
They had something in business. I don't even know what the story is. You know what the story is? I don't even know what the story is.
The problem when friends start.
And that's Toba's, Cy's.
Yeah, I know.
We were very friendly with Cy, and we were friendly with Cy's father.
Yeah, Cy's father and your mother were in the same single school.
Yeah, it goes back like 4
Bessie.
generations. Now it's
So
5
Bessie-
generations even.
And Cy's father used to say, Bessie was the most beautiful
Yeah.
woman he remembers from his youth.
That was Balaam.
And speaking of you remember from youth, you remember my father-in-law as a kid.
Jack and I were friends at the University of Western Heights.
Right.
I remember his father used to have not Adler shoes, the hat store he used to have, I think.
He had I think his father was in the
Hat business?
hosiery or something, or
I thought it was hats or
Haberdasher?
somehow. I thought it was habit. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm mixing up. So, but I remember.
but it
Jack.
was, yeah, it was retail.
When you
Or
told me the name Hizuka, when you were at
when I came to your office.
yeah, when you were at the school here at Machon Lev,
Right.
and you told me Hizuka, I said, I asked him to relate to Jack Hizuka. Yeah, it goes back a long time.
And we were saying that this probably also goes back to Europe as well. I mean, we were all Galicianos from the same
Well,
areas.
I didn't know Hizuka through any connection that anyone had through Europe. I knew
Right.
from the shul. We used to have kids. We had a group, And I remember we used to pack. They used to have things when there was the Israel war. Morty Dolinsky
Right.
was active, and then he became Healy, Morty Dolan.
Right. Jack talks about him all the time.
Sure. He died too recently. He was very active. He used to go to pack guns over in Jersey or ship over to Israel. But we had a lot of stuff in the Young Israel. That was when Young Israel moved from the loft building, which was directly across from the medical center, to a block or two up, I think 71st Street. They bought a little house. That's how I know in White Plains. Start off, you'd get a little house. And so the same repeats.
That's the way it's done.
Start a house.
It's not quite the way it's done here in Israel.
Well, the government gives them a lot of support here.
That's the problem. People expect the government to do it, but that's a different story.